and he's in trouble. He's going to run. He's going to get the first down.
Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time.
The Pitt Panthers have pulled a stunning upset over the West Virginia Mountaineers.
And Johnny Majors gets a ride across the field.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Simplify Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. We're back to Pitt football coverage. I'm here with my co-host, Mason. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. It feels good. Feels good to be back in the stew.
I know. It's been, I think it's been about 3 weeks, but we haven't really talked about any news in pretty much a month.
Yeah, which means we're going to have a jam-packed show. Yeah. Talk a little bit of everything and anything. Everything's game.
We actually had to make an agenda. To let you in behind the scenes, we never do this.
Yeah.
We're a vibes-based podcast.
Off the cuff. We like to riff. We like to have fun.
We're looking into buying a whiteboard. Still haven't done it. We can't expense it on the company card yet because we haven't gone the company card yet.
Yeah. But yeah, for this one we got a little bit of a syllabus.
We studied. We passed the syllabus exam on our second try. The Quizlet really helped us out. Before we go any farther, I just want to thank again our guests on our last two episodes, Kayla Lund, a friend of the show, David, and Taylor for our little all-season content. Hope y'all liked it. And let's switch it up today. We're starting with Pitt basketball.
Let's do it, baby. Let's talk hoops.
So the last time we talked about Pitt hoops was after the Virginia game and before the Clemson game.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think we talked about it on the awards show. We might have, but we might as well just recap like the entire month of January, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to kind of just break down game by game. So following that Virginia win, we lose at home to Clemson, lose at Duke. We rattle off two easy wins against Georgia Tech and Louisville, both on the road. Lose at home to FSU. Now, the last three games, 3 straight wins versus Wake Forest. Comeback win against Miami at home. And then the win last night at UNC. Sweep them on the season.
Brooms. Got the
Get
brooms.
the brooms out. It's Capel Hill. He's 3-0 in the Smith Center, whatever it's called.
Dean Smith Center, yeah.
Smith Center. I think he's 5-3 all time as a head coach against them at Pitt. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go chronological? Start with the Clemson and Duke?
Yeah, let's talk about the skid before let's talk about the lows there before we get to the highs where we're at now.
All right, take us away.
I mean, so post Virginia game was probably about as high as I've ever felt about Pitt basketball.
Until like last night.
Yeah, and we're back there now. But going into the Clemson game, felt great. Really turned out that loss wasn't really a bad one. The Clemson's a damn good basketball team.
Right, they're currently number 1 in the ACC. Also, that was a very, very close game. They just couldn't finish it down the stretch. Like that one was, like looking back on it, like it was hard to not win that one, but it's a damn good loss.
Yeah. When you look back at the season, nobody's going undefeated in conference play unless you're Gonzaga playing nobody.
Yeah.
So like when you look back at, there's a lot of games that we should have won this year. That's one that I'm like okay with losing.
Yeah.
So
all right, Duke game.
This one was.
We got beat in this game. It wasn't too competitive in the second half.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and like, I don't want to say Duke slept on, but people are just because they're not dominant in the ACC this year. People are kind of like the whole.
You're quick to like discount a team that's been so good for so long because you don't like them, right? You love to be like, oh, we're done with these guys, and then you forget like, oh yeah, they're still pulling in 5 stars that are going to go.
It's the Patriots. It's the Patriots still.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not to the same extent that Duke does it, but like you're rooting for their downfall.
Yes.
Like, yeah, exactly. And they have a bunch of talent. Like they're a raw team. They're gonna get coached up. They're still gonna be good. They're just having a down year. So I felt like this was a game where we didn't play our best basketball, and if we did, it would have been more so like that Clemson game where it
could have gone either way.
Could have came down to the last shot. We were just like a couple plays away.
So getting out of that stretch, right? Because before that, it was home wins against UVA and UNC. If you had told us we were going 2-2 in that stretch, we would have been okay with it. But it's more so that like we could have been 3-1 really easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's almost like I didn't expect it to be the two teams that we beat. Like, I thought the teams that we had the best chance again were probably UNC. Yeah. Or like UNC and Clemson. Like, for whatever reason, I didn't think we were going to beat Virginia. So when we started 2-0, it's like, okay, you almost get like your hopes up and then a 2-game skid. But if you look at it macro level, 4-game stint, like we did what we had to do.
So over their next 4, 3 wins against teams like you kind of expect. Like Wake Forest is sort of like a middling team in the ACC, Louisville, Georgia Tech, bottom feeders. The loss against FSU, that's a tough one, especially because they lost by like 30 last night to NC State.
Yeah, they got wrecked by NC State, and it was at home. Too,
No, that was. I think that was in Raleigh.
No, when we lost to Florida State.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't
Florida State. It was home, which is like
that was an awful.
It's one thing if you do it in
Tallahassee,
but to do it in the Pete, where we've been awesome this year, that's what makes it hurt even more, I think.
Yeah. That one, I feel just everyone was off that game. No one looked right playing that game.
Yeah, that was like it was like a gut check because, it was just really not a team we should have lost to. But that just gives us even more reason to kind of, I don't look ahead too far here, but like when we do play them later this season in Tallahassee.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that.
I'll hold off then. I'll hold off then.
All right. So following that, we're on a 3-game winning streak right now. Home against Wake Forest. Sort of the gut check after the FSU loss. You come out and you beat a middle-of-the-road team that you should beat if you're going to be in this top quadrant of the ACC. Then the comeback against Miami. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, I was watching the first half of the game. I was like, all right. This is just going to be one of those games where the other boot drops on Pitt Basketball, and we can't win a big game, and they shut me up.
Was it an 11-2 run to finish that game?
Yeah.
Oh my! I couldn't watch this one. I was out of town, but I was following my phone. I was like mashing the refresh button. I was like, what's happening? What's happening?
No, it was an awesome game. So many U's were broken in the student section.
Oh,
it was.
I mean, the videos coming out, like, they were just U's down everywhere, breaking the U over the knee. I mean, sucks to be you, obviously.
Yeah.
Just, that is awesome. Then, let's talk about last night, the win against UNC on the road.
On the road.
So this is a back and forth game. I mean, this is like almost like pretty much an all-time classic. But, so I started watching the second half.
Okay.
I did not watch the first half. What did I miss in the first half?
First half was a lot more of what you got in the second half.
Okay.
So it was a game of runs. They were kind of going back and forth. Pitt did lead for the majority of the first half, which was the exact opposite of the first time we played UNC when they kind of had to play comeback kids. So it felt good going into half, and then we get that lead. Comes down to the last couple minutes there. They go on a run. Oh, look at that. It's UNC's winning this game. And
all right. So let's talk second half. So I think we want to start off on, well, Rodney, this game's about to get away from Pittsburgh here.
All-time commentator jinx.
All-time jinx. I mean, Nelly Cummings literally did the NBA Jam heat check. I mean, each three-point attempt was more just outrageous than the last.
Yeah. Which is exactly what, if you're shooting like that,
fuck it.
Yeah. And it's like he hasn't been great from three at all year. Mm-hmm. He's hit a couple timely ones here and there.
Right. He's like on the as a body of work, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but when it comes down to when you need a three, all of a sudden he clicks it in.
So he did his quick calculator math. He said, "Oh, we need 4 threes? Yeah, I got you."
I think there was 3.
Yeah. So I had hyperbole a little bit.
Right. He went from down 6 to up 3, and goes back and forth. Now it's down to the wire. Pitt misses 2 big 1-and-1s to go 0 points. They're down by 1 on the last possession of the game. And you see Jamarius Burton come out of the fucking break, smiling, nodding. Did you see the video where they explain the play where it's Burton's being guarded by Leaky Black, I believe, and then you have Greg Elliott and Fede run a pick to get their defender switched, and then Fede runs a pick so that R.J. Davis is on on Burton.
Yeah.
Draws the most obvious foul because guy's hugging his arm. Nails 2 free throws after everyone else couldn't hit one to save their life. And then the final play of the game, first off, bonehead move to call that timeout and try and have a 0.6 second play.
Oh, that was so dumb. You just got to get something up there.
Yeah.
You just got to get something up. You can't get a good look. With 0.6 seconds, there's no pump fakes. There's no...
I mean, the look was terrible.
Yeah.
The look was terrible.
Yeah.
Savani blocks. It doesn't even matter because the buzzer hits even before the ball leaves his hand. We've run out of the Smith Center with a 1-point win.
Yeah, a lot of UNC fans that might not know ball either complaining about that last play when he still had he was still in his hand when time was expired. So even if it was a foul, which it wasn't, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Right, don't know ball.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I have quite a few UNC fans just because they're kind of like a national, like they're like everywhere has UNC fans, but also lived in Raleigh and very close to Chapel Hill for a while. I got on my soapbox the first time we beat them, and I was like, "Let's go!" And they're like, "Yeah. December basketball doesn't mean shit." So I got to pull out the receipts this time. I was like, "How about February basketball?" What's the?
Yo, let's go.
So shout out to the boys for letting me talk my shit.
That's just the greatest activity we have is when we're allowed to talk shit. Oh boy,
yeah,
you make our life. That's our job. We're podcasters. We can go tell RJ Davis that he stinks and he can't defend Burton. We can tell. The refs suck, but that's every ACC game.
Yeah, dude, college. It's like
they either swallow the whistle or they're blowing on like an inhaler.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where don't cut this part of the show because I will be complaining about the refs in the future. But you can't complain about the refs because you know it's going to be dog shit in college. Like that's just kind of the name of the game. You have to not let them dictate it. It's the best. I mean, it's just the nature of the game. You live by it, you die by it.
Yeah, we play in the ACC. It happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely watch more ACC basketball than any other basketball. So I don't know if it's different in other conferences.
I've heard that we're the worst.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. So now they're all caught up. Pitt is now 16-7, sole possession of third place in the ACC. They have losses to number 1 Clemson and number 6 Duke. Wins over 2 UVA, 4 NC State, 5 Miami, 7 Wake Forest, and 8 Syracuse. Now, at this point, we've got to focus on: are we a double bye team in the ACC tournament? Top 4 seeds get the double bye. Now, the last time Pitt ever got a bye was they got a single bye as a 9 seed in 2016, and they've never been higher than a 5 seed, and that was in 2014, their first year in the league.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
that's crazy.
This could be, the best year, it could be the best year of Pitt basketball since the Big East.
Yeah. Wow, that is a surprising stat, but I guess when you think back about our book of work, it makes sense.
Right, yeah. Especially, the program was turning down as we entered the ACC, and then we valleyed out for the last 3 years. So.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I think there's a pretty good shot, too. I feel pretty good about it based off where we're sitting currently.
Right, we've got a couple, the back half of the schedule is pretty favorable to us. I think the biggest games here at FSU on February 11th, revenge game. At Virginia Tech, which is a highly rated team in the composite rankings for some reason. They're actually higher than us. We'll get to the rankings in a little bit. Home against Syracuse on the 25th. Always have to win that one. You don't want to lose this one, especially this year when they got a down year. And then closing out the season at Miami. I mean,
that's the big one.
That's the big one, I think. I think to be a tournament team, you can lose that one. But if you win that one, if you win, if you take care of the easy games, you've swept UNC, and then you also sweep Miami, and then kind of revenge FSU. I think that might guarantee you a bid.
I agree. To me, it's kind of like you look at the remaining half of our schedule.
I'll actually pull it up.
And we'll go, the ceiling is, and it's a high ceiling. It's a vaulted ceiling here.
We're spending so much.
Winning the regular season, being ACC championships in the regular season, because I think our schedule is a lot more favorable than what both Virginia and Clemson have left, and they play each other the final week of the season. So,
I mean, if we're gonna talk just on what teams we have left, we've got Louisville, Florida State, Boston College, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Notre Dame. Those are our next 7 games. Those 7 teams are the bottom 7 in the ACC.
Yeah. So it's about as favorable as it gets. I don't want us to get complacent at all.
No. They've got to put the pedal to the floor.
But it's there. Like the path is there. Which if you told me that about this team, I think if you told anybody that, considering everybody picked us to be,
I think we were 14th,
14 in the ACC, that we're in this position now. I love it. I think the floor is probably more so where you were talking, where it comes down. Double bye. Well, that and even worse than that, maybe it comes down to the end of the season with Miami, where we have to win that game to
be a bubble team.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about bubble teams, let's talk about bracketology, because this has been a big thing over the last couple of games, especially after the win against Miami. On was it Lenardi is the big ESPN. Lenardi had us as a last 4 in, even though we had wins over like 6 teams ranked higher than us, including those ACC teams and Northwestern in the NET and KenPom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on his latest update after the UNC win, we're no longer on the last 4 in, so I think we're somewhere in like those middle seeds. Like obviously, we're not competing for like a top 4 seed, or anything like that. But I think
like 8, 9,
8, 9, something like that, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So if they keep winning, they can probably get themselves, depending on what region they pull, right, a pretty favorable matchup to win a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah. All we need is to get our dancing shoes on.
Yeah.
That's all we need. That's all we need. We've proved that we can hang with the best of them. Mm-hmm. We can lose to the worst of them, but we'll just let us get dancing. That's all we got to do.
Now, do you want to speak on the disrespect from the computer polls?
I mean,
is it time to get rid of computers? Has AI gone too far?
I'd love to say that, but then you look at the AP poll, and it's the same. It's the same thing, right?
We've beaten. I think all 6 teams that we've beaten in the ACC have received more votes than us.
Yeah, and a lot of it does make sense. And I will say we like to nitpick college football rankings, but they're usually pretty. You might move a couple teams around a little bit.
Yeah, but you might have one big disagreement with college football, right?
Yeah, and maybe just because there's so many more basketball teams that are kind of in the mix. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's just no ranking system has given any respect to Pitt. I don't know. I don't know what we need to do.
You could say with the computers, probably those bad losses early in the season, like West Virginia doesn't look that good. The A-10 loss doesn't look great. You have FSU, obviously, but the human voters should be looking at body of work here, because we're still a top 60 team in the computers, even though that's lower than I think we should be. But you're sweeping UNC.
Yeah.
You beat Virginia, who is second in the ACC. Like, nothing to sneeze at here. Fucking rank us.
Yeah.
Cowards.
Yeah. And I think, now that we beat UNC, we swept UNC, we don't have a game this Saturday, and the poll comes out on Monday. Mm-hmm.
We have to hope for other teams to lose right now.
I think so. But given that we have 9 votes, had a great win on the road in UNC, historic program, we're going to be close for sure.
I don't know if we're going to be top 25. I would think we get more votes. Right. I don't know what place we're in with 9 votes. Probably pretty far down that list. I would hope that we kind of jump some of these other ACC programs. But like you were saying with the college football poll, obviously the college football top 25 is a lot of preseason bias. There's a lot more when it comes to
basketball. Oh yeah, not even preseason bias, just blue blood bias kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because UNC, I'm pretty sure UNC is ahead of us in pretty much every single AP and net and the computer stuff. They're ahead of us in all of them, and I'm just trying to make it make sense. For the quad, with the quad tracking system.
They're 1-6 against quad 1, and we're 6-2, I think.
Yeah. I'll pull up the exact. So, in the quad system, UNC ranked 43.
Okay.
They are 1-6 in quad wins.
Quad 1
wins. 5-1 in quad 2 wins. The difference is them being 3-0 in quad 3 and 6-0 in quad 4.
Okay.
Pitt is 4-2 in quad 1, 4-4 in quad 2, 1-0 in quad 3, 7-1 in quad 4.
It's quad 2 and 4. Like it's the quad 4 that's really tanking, like the perception.
Yeah, but I think even if a lot of it is the quad is them being 5-1 in quad 2. But I don't know. It
doesn't make sense. You're 1-6 against quad 1. Like obviously you can't compete with the big boys at that point.
Exactly, and it's like when you look at who you're going to be playing in the tournament, they're all going to be
quad 1.
They're all quad 1.
2.
Yeah, they're all quad 1 games. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. We're biased, but holy shit, give us some respect. John Rothstein, somebody,
crumbs,
anybody.
Well, did Rothstein? He did a slogan for the Oakland Zoo. Mm-hmm. What was it? It was more demand for a slogan than breakfast at Pamela's on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
How do we feel? I think it's all right.
It's all right. He's had better John Rothsteinisms, but respect for the guy for knowing Pamela's the spot. I think that gets him some cred. I mean, let's just keep winning, and we'll force him to workshop it.
Do you think he's a hotcakes guy or an omelet guy?
He's a sweet breakfast guy. He's
He's
hotcakes or maybe even a waffle guy.
What about French toast?
Oh yeah, he might be a French toast guy.
All right, hit us up if you know. Hit us up if you've seen John Rothstein eating at the Pamela's in Oakland. Let us know.
We're gonna have our next guest on the pod is going to be a waitress from Pamela's. We're going to disguise her voice for safety. She's going to tell us about John Rothstein's order.
John Rothstein.
She's just like in like when they put him in the back room with the shadow kind of over him so you can't see him.
All right. I think that's everything on basketball. I guess Burton, ACC Player of the Year, Capel Coach of the Year, ACC. That's all I really have.
Yeah, both of them need their respect. Jamaris Burton, legitimately probably a top 3 maybe, depending on who you ask. Power forward or forward in the whole country.
Ooh, okay, all right, I like that.
Yeah, because he's got not just the points, he's got the assist numbers. He's doing it all for us, and even on games when he's not lighting up the scoreboard, he's still doing a lot for the Panthers. So give him his respect, give the Panthers their respect, give Capel his respect. That's my rant.
Oh, you know what you're going to talk about? Fede Federico.
All ACC name team?
All ACC name team. So I didn't know he was actually from Finland until like the other day.
Yeah, he's one of those. And then he went to he came over to the States for high school, and then I forget where he went to high school. It was like somewhere I was like, he's not like from there.
Well, we offered his brother, but like his defense in this UNC game, and I forgot to talk about this earlier, but like his defense in the UNC game was one of the deciding factors. Like Armando Bacot was like 3 of 10 from the field.
Yeah, that's a great point. I will say I get mad sometimes at Federico. His pass catching can use some work, but when you hold that level of player in Bacot to the stat line that he put up, you can look back at that and be like, that's a huge reason why we won this game.
He's improving as the season goes on for sure, and like the obviously his pass catching using work, but like the one pick and roll, flip it over to Fede in the UNC game, that looked a lot better than it has in recent like games.
Yeah, and that's just me like nitpicking.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we knew he wasn't like a scoring. Like, he's obviously the second guy between Hughley. Like he was supposed to be like the second fiddle.
Yeah, but he's really stepped into his role when he probably didn't expect to. I mean, play more than a couple minutes when Hughley needed a rest this seazen.
Yeah, now he's the feature guy, and it's the Diaz-Graham twins making their names known.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to go to football? I think we've exhausted basketball.
Yeah.
We just talked about basketball for 24 minutes.
That was talking hoops.
That was talking hoops. That's a lot of hoops talk.
Yeah.
All right.
We should do that more. We should talk more hoops.
I mean, listen, it's awesome. We have to talk something.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna do. Listen, probably football news will probably slow down, so we're gonna talk some more hoops. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, football. Let's start off. Let's pander to Mason a little bit. Big Eagles fan. Avonte Maddox in the Super Bowl.
damn straight, baby, damn straight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this game, man. Probably even more excited than I was in the 2017-2018 run. But yeah, we love a Panther on the roster, man. He's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is he back and healthy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. He didn't play as much, honestly, in the NFC Championship game, and I'm not sure if that was just because snap count.
He might have not had to as well.
Yeah, the whole not being able to throw the ball in the second half thing. Yeah. You don't exactly bring the nickel corner in for for the packages the Niners were throwing at us. So, but yeah. On that same note, there was the anniversary the other day of the Penn State graphic. Remember when they did that bad?
Every player, every Super Bowl has that Penn State player period, except for 5 Super Bowls. I didn't know it was the 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, I think it was 5 years.
Unfortunately, they haven't had to update it.
Yeah, true.
I don't even know who's the Penn State player this year.
Miles Sanders.
Miles
Sanders.
Okay,
yeah, Booby Miles. But yeah, shout out to the boy in the Super Bowl.
So we're officially on the Eagles.
Oh yeah. This is an Eagles podcast. If you're rooting for the Chiefs, I got bad news for you. I won't be here if the Chiefs win.
So we're open to DMs if the Eagles lose or need a new host.
Tentative application.
All right. We'll post it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. Recruiting. Jordan Bass is pretty much firmly the number 1 recruit in Pitt's recruiting class from this year. He is top 50, number 48 on the On3 rankings, and he's in the ESPN top 300. He also got his 4th star from 247. He's not a unanimous 4-star yet because Rivals is just giving him 3 stars.
There's always somebody.
Yeah,
there's always somebody.
I mean,
but huge for the class.
Huge. I mean, I think we might have talked about this, but 2-way player deciding to play linebacker, even though he caught 30 touchdowns. But you have 10 picks, 4 pick sixes. You might have a career on defense.
He's playing linebacker, but he's going to have an ATH for athlete next to his name because
I think he does.
Yeah, I was just kind of joking, but
actually, no, he's listed as a linebacker because I think he just was like confirmed. Just I want to play defense in college.
Yes, I mean, love that mentality.
Yeah,
that's a guy that's going to.
I want him to get a couple of packages on offense.
That would be cool. Yeah, put him in. Yeah, I mean, he can do it.
Was it Jordan Whitehead did that, right?
Jordan Whitehead did it for Pitt for a little bit. Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's make it happen. Okay. Transfer talk. So they interviewed all of the incoming transfers. Phil, Derek Davis, Christian Veyer, Dejon Reynolds, and Donovan McMillan. Now there's some quotes from their interviews we'd like to sort of pick out and talk about them. So Phil's first quote: "I think that all the Whitfield kids should stay home and come to play at Pitt. That's something that hasn't happened for a while. Would love that to happen. Well, Philly made it home eventually. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think this is Narduzzi using Phil as a talking head.
Yeah.
I think this is like a 5D chess play. And I have some thoughts about this whole recruiting strategy from the transfer portal this offseason. I'm actually looking at putting that into an article somewhere, so be on the lookout for that. But I actually truly do think that
Narduzzi brainwashed Phil.
Well, I think he's just like, hey, I want you to say this because he might have also wanted to actually say it, but he's make sure you say this because I think he's not talking to the reporters there, right? His audience there is the kids who are in Pittsburgh will see the news on Instagram. They'll see it maybe parents will see it if they see it in the newspaper or something like that. He knows who the message is for.
Yeah. And I mean, there's no better person to. I will say it's ironic. people in the comments were kind of like, "Oh yeah, Phil," but like honestly, there is something to be said about him saying it as somebody who didn't do it. Right. Like, it's kind of like learn from my mistakes. I wish I would have stayed home and went to this great school versus kind of being a journeyman a couple other places. But
you know what might have been a really big factor in Jerk not staying home? He was the recruiting class of, I believe, 2018. So Kenny was already the entrenched starter at that point. So he might have thought he had a better chance to play elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, if Kenny doesn't come in and like win that Miami game, solidify himself as the starter next year, he might have stayed home. There's a good chance, but obviously, he didn't end up staying home.
Yeah,
it's sort of like an alternate timeline thing, right? Like if
I mean, honestly, at this point, kind of glad that he didn't.
Right? Yeah, like, I'm not taking like I'm not. I was gonna be like, yeah, no. I mean, I wish Kenny didn't play. I would have liked to keep Jerk home. I just want the local guys who really want to play for the school. Like, no, I'll fucking take the championship. I'm not gonna say sorry, but I do think this is like a really interesting quote and saying like this is like especially off the heels of the Central Catholic kid who committed to Penn State, Anthony Spica, something like that, who's like who came from like a Pitt family. I think they're trying to like actually build up their whip recruiting, which is something that Pitt has struggled with.
Yeah.
The entirety of like the 21st century.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for getting the word out, Phil.
Spread the good word of dudes. Look at dudes.
That'd be a great question for dudes though. Like if you like go back to that recruiting process when it was Phil and Kenny was there and was like, dude, like, or I guess even Phil, honestly, like ask him, like, did that have like a factor into you going elsewhere? Was it the Kenny factor?
If Phil was ever going to come on this podcast, I think that'll be like the first question I ask.
Yeah.
Like, was Kenny Pickett a factor in you going to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
And then like when he was transferring, obviously, he transferred when Kenny was still starter as well. So,
yeah.
Something to think of. Next quote from Phil. He was asked about how it's going to feel when he was running out of the tunnel at the AC. His quote was, "I wish it was still Hines." So Phil is officially one of us. You know me. I'm negative. I'm the negative personality on this. I'm the doomsayer. I'm like, fuck, man, Phil, like, I was pretty negative when he transferred, but it is getting really hard for me to not at least somewhat believe. Not to the absurd belief in Keaton Slovis, but I'm just like, all right, like,
yeah, no, he's definitely a homer. He just like me for real. We all it is going to be tough because we're just going to get a full off season of of him being a homer, and it's gonna work, man. Okay, it's gonna work. So, I'm telling you.
So what's the next step in him being a homer? Is it a planned video at like Giant Eagle?
That's what I was gonna say. Like some NIL with like a
appearance at a Pirates game.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. Or Penguins game maybe at this point. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but he has all offseason. He can go.
He has his choice, yeah.
He can go wherever.
Preseason game.
Exactly, yeah. But, I mean, basketball, the Pitt basketball game, he was there with some recruits and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he was there, I think Dejan Reynolds was visiting? I might be wrong, that there were some football and basketball recruits there, and he's sitting courtside with Dews. And I forget which game. I think it was the Miami game he was at. I think Dews said, like, we're going to storm the court until someone from the basketball staff told him, like, you can't do that.
That's funny. Dews just feel like, we're running Engage 8. We're running Engage 8 on the court.
I'll be honest. I wanted to storm the court so bad after the FSU win at home in 2018.
Yeah.
Wanted to do it so bad, but my buddy who was like a Pittsburgh native, he's like, "Oh, we don't do that." I'm like, "Fuck, man."
Yeah, it sucks, but you can always pull the "we're better than you" card.
We gotta drop the class act. I want to storm some courts.
Yeah, dude, it's like that. Yeah.
Also, one just completely off topic. You know the Zombie Nation chant where we go PITT.
Yeah.
That has been completely changed. It used to be Penn State sucks dick.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up.
They cleaned it up.
The FCC got to us.
They brainwashed the student population. All of a sudden, it's a totally different chant. We have to bring that back. I'm saying we have to bring that back.
It would be nice if
we actually
played Penn State. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to get a West Virginia version or something since we played them in basketball and football this year.
We got to go home Mountaineers. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. Hopefully we get to say that again this year in Morgantown.
Have the broadcast pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. A couple of the quick notes. These aren't quotes, but Derek Davis officially playing running back. So this is another pretty stacked running back room with him, Rodney, and Sibo. Christian Bayer was told there'd be a QB competition. I think that's just kind of lip service. Like, I think everyone expects Phil to be the starter.
Hey, but make him compete.
Yeah,
make him earn it.
Because I don't think they really made Keaton Slovis earn it last year.
Felt that way. Felt that way after the Sun Bowl.
So maybe they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
And then Dejon Reynolds, this is kind of a quick note. He chose Pitt over Miami. He transferred from Florida because of our 42-16 win.
That was awesome.
He said that in the press conference. Sucks to be you. Awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, it wasn't a meaningless game, but like, at that point, we weren't playing for a lot being out of the championship contention. So knowing that, hey, people are watching. Like,
there was meaning to that because like Pitt has always struggled with Miami. To put a beating on them was...
Well, it was a revenge game. It was all that stuff. But one more cherry on top here is stealing their recruit from right under their feet.
Yep. Okay. Before we go to the schedule release, I want to talk about the super seniors coming back because we did not talk about this in the podcast. So the list is Tyler Bentley, Devin Danielson, both D tackles, along with David Green on the D tackle. Sibo Flemister is back. Jake Cradle and Blake Zubovic are back on the O-line to join Matt Gonsalves in his second year starting. Shane Simon's back at linebacker, and A.J. Woods and Marquez Williams are back at the cornerback positions. I'm really excited Marquez Williams is back.
Yeah,
he's a shutdown corner. Like, he's only going to get better.
I agree.
Like, he can lock down one side of the field, especially like we have a ton of new players in the secondary and the linebackers to have
a
presence, leader. Especially like having Shane Simon back, Bangali Kamara, Marquez, A.J. Woods. Like, having those guys back. Because, like, the D-line is the D-line. You have Charlie Partridge. Fucking pay that man, by the way. Don't let another school take him. But having that, like, core of players in the secondary that can coach other players up as they're coming in, that is super important. I think Marquez is probably the best player coming back. Shane Simon might be the most important as a linebacker. And then, obviously, your O-line coming back is super helpful. Because
love the big uglies coming back.
Replacing two players in your line is never easy. To have a 3-player foundation is really good.
Yeah. Love the super seniors.
I think this is going to be the last year of super seniors. We might get...
What do you mean?
As far as the... Oh, no. There's going to be like 1 or 2 more years of the COVID eligibility plus red shirt.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to get less and less.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well...
It'll be interesting to see who is going to be eligible for that. I'd have to look into it. I actually don't know off the top of my head.
There's always a couple red shirts and a grad.
Yeah, there's actually have to.
Yeah.
All right. 2023 schedule?
Let's talk it.
Okay. Starting off, home against Wofford, September 2nd, opening the season there, versus Cincinnati, renewing of the River City rivalry on September 9th, at WVU, September 16th, UNC at home, not on Thursday, September 23rd. Wow, yeah. And then at VT to close out September on September 30th. We have a week 6 bye. You have Louisville at home on the 14th of October, at Wake Forest on the 21st, at Notre Dame on the 28th. Then moving into November, you have Florida State at home on the 4th, at Syracuse on the 11th, but that game is being played at Yankee Stadium. Senior night against BC is on Thursday the 16th, and then we finish the season at Duke on the 25th. Okay.
Spot a loss. I can't. 12-0. No, I'm just kidding.
Wake Forest, Notre Dame, Florida State is a tough.
That's a tough stretch.
I'm hoping that Florida State game
that is off the bye though, right? Or is it Louisville
after?
Before
even Louisville is going to be a tricky game because you have Malik Cunningham is done, but you have Jeff Brom coming in as head coach.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, even so, you have 4 Power 5 teams in September as well. Since you had to view UNC VT, now, I don't think highly of Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati. I don't like him as a coach. I don't think very highly of West Virginia. I think they suck. I think they're going to go like 1-11. I think Virginia Tech is still in the woods. UNC, we'll see. I don't like their offensive coordinator hire, but I think you have to be 4-1, bare minimum, coming out of September.
Yeah.
Can't lose to WU. That has to be locked in as a win, and I think you gotta get Cincy coming up to the Big 12. Like, obviously, when that was scheduled, that was going to be a Group of 5 game. We couldn't predict that they were going to have a CFP appearance and move up to the Big 12, and then
we bought stock low, and it
went up, and we didn't sell.
Dogecoin. We had diamond hands.
And it screwed up.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that game. It's kind of like we get our little we get Wofford to tune up, and then it's like, let's fucking play football, baby.
Yeah. I like that we're going back to the tune-up game, not starting off the year with West Virginia.
Yeah. As electric as that was.
You're right, yeah. The atmosphere was undeniably great, but the tune-up is necessary.
Don't sleep on the Terriers, though.
Coached by, shit. Who's their coach? It's former OC Sean Watson.
Yeah. I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, he's replacing Josh Conklin, who was the OC before him. Josh Conklin got fired, and then Sean Watson is now head coach of Wofford. I know I'm being very, very homer right now, and I should probably tune my expectations down. But I mean, shit, you could go 5-0 this month.
Would love that.
I think you have to get UNC at home. I think as good as Drake May is, UNC's have a lot of transfers out. You get a new offensive coordinator who I don't like, and UCF's old offensive coordinator. And then you have your bye. I like the middle of the season bye. It's kind of like, a good rest out of 4 straight Power 5s. Then you go into the back half of your schedule. Now, Wake Forest and Louisville. Louisville, I think, will be easier at home. Wake Forest, I'm selling on my Wake Forest stock. No Sam Hartman.
I was just say it's going to be a very different team without him.
Yep.
So, a lot of question marks there. I'm sure we'll kind of fill some of that in the off season here, but it's a tough stretch there. But when you look at it, it's almost like the bye week. You're right. Is that a perfect time? Because you can just look at it at too many seasons, right?
You have your first 4-game stretch and your second 4-game stretch. Following up Wake Forest, you go to Notre Dame, which obviously is the hardest game on the schedule, if not the second hardest, then to FSU at home.
Yeah.
FSU is probably your ACC preseason favorite. They're getting all the hype this year. You got to take one of these games. And Notre Dame could be losing their offensive coordinator to Alabama. That's been rumored today.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
I don't really think he's that great. I'm curious to see if they lose him, who they'd hire. Because that changed my perception of the team a lot. I also don't think that Sam Hartman's that good.
Yeah, very different offense in Notre Dame than was in Wake Forest.
Imagine they run the slow mesh at Notre Dame.
There'd be so many old Irish guys in the crowd. Just hand the damn ball off.
What do you dance around the backfield for?
North and south.
I think, here's my hot take. I think Notre Dame is an easier game to win than Florida State. Even though it's on the road. I think Florida State is probably the better team as far as scheme.
More dynamic.
More dynamic for sure.
Probably match up better against them in the Signetti world. Yeah, I don't hate that. We also always play Notre Dame close.
Except for the COVID year.
It's a COVID year. There's an asterisk by that one anyway.
Yep. All right, last 3. The Yankee Stadium game. So this is actually it's the 100th year of the first college football game ever played in Yankee Stadium.
Oh,
and the game was Pitt versus Syracuse.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool, actually.
I've been to a couple games in Yankee Stadium. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, the sidelines aren't great, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's our own little mini pinstripe bowl.
Now, do we think one of these teams is going to wear a special pinstripe uniform? Are they going to get?
That would actually be
Because
Not
remember
gonna
when
lie,
Notre Dame did that?
the royal blue and yellow pinstripes, they could probably make some.
I mean, the Pitt baseball jerseys are beautiful.
Yeah, a little Pitt inspired Pitt baseball inspired football jersey. I wouldn't hate that. Yeah.
BC, I don't like this being this sucks as a Thursday because it's senior night, but this is the Phil and Frank revenge game. I guess Notre Dame's a revenge game for Phil as well.
Yeah. It's a huge bonus of having him be at two schools that we play. We get two revenge games from him.
Revenge games.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 2-0 in revenge games last year.
We just have to find a narrative for every single game to be a revenge game. How can we twist the narrative here?
Well, obviously UNC revenge game.
West Virginia revenge game because it's always a revenge game.
Always a revenge game. Louisville revenge game. Wake Forest is a revenge game because their fans are annoying on Twitter. Okay. Notre Dame is a revenge game because it's a Phil game, right? FSU, revenge game. The last time they came to Pittsburgh, they destroyed us with Jameis Winston. Revenge game.
That was the last. Yeah. Wow.
First year we joined the ACC. BC is obviously a Phil revenge game. The only ones I can't find one for are Wofford, Cincy, Vatech, and Duke and Syracuse.
We're gonna have to do some digging on Wofford and.
I mean, I guess it's a revenge game against our old shitty OC.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Wofford, check.
Cincy.
There's got to be a game back there we can.
Maybe you can do a little AFC. You can tie in NFL, right?
Go on. Oh,
Steelers Bengals.
Yeah, AB Vontaze Burfict game.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll just okay. We'll get that narrative cooking.
Okay. All right. We're gonna workshop Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Duke.
Duke beat us in basketball.
Okay. Perfect. Syracuse sold you to Mints.
Yeah.
Okay.
Football revenge game.
Virginia Tech. Jordan Base homecoming revenge game.
Okay. I can't think of a better one right now.
Yeah, because
we'll put a pin in the docket for that one.
We're gonna come back to this. We're gonna buy a whiteboard, put it at top, and we're not gonna race till we figure something out.
Verbal mean Charlie Day trying to find Pepe Sylvia. We're just trying to find revenge games for Virginia Tech.
I've been dying talking about the Hokies, Mac. I see all these games about the Hokies. And I go to Blacksburg. I say, Carol, where are the Hokies? I get to Lane Stadium, and there's nobody there, Mac. It's a ghost town up there. It's a fake football team.
There is no Carol.
There is no Virginia Tech, Mac. It's made up by the state of Virginia. Mike Vick never existed, Mac.
Yeah. On one of our very off season, dead of summer when only baseball's on, we will do an in-depth dive into. It'll be like an ESPN 30 for 30 level documentary on revenge games.
I was going to say we could do an ESPN 30 for 30 on actually how Virginia Tech doesn't exist.
Okay. We do like a little info, like an InfoWars level conspiracy on Virginia Tech.
What if I told you that Blacksburg, Virginia doesn't exist? 30,000 students that never were.
They're all crisis actors.
Shit. All right, I think we can end the pod on that. You have anything else?
Is that really it?
I have nothing else on the notes. I have nothing else on the docket. Nothing much. Yeah, no.
No, yeah. I think that was.
I think that catches up. Yeah.
Cool. Feels good to be back, man.
Feels good to be back. All right. Thank you for once again tuning in to Simplify Podcast. I've been your host, Zach Kaminsky. I've been joined by my co-host, Mason. I think what Aussie might do every 2 weeks is kind of a slow roll. We're going to go every other week now. If there's something big in basketball, we'll do a little short episode, something like that. As always, you can find us on Twitter at SimplifiedPod. if you want to ask the podcast a question, we do have a Q&A form up. You'll find that in the replies for the tweet for this episode. Make sure to check that out. Need more Q&A questions. We need to do an off-season show.
Yeah.
Fill some time.
It doesn't even have to be Pitt related. Ask us
this question.
Ask us anything.
How
ask
we're
us
doing
anything.
Something, I don't know. Cheeseburger recipes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Tits or ass.
Well, hey, don't blow up my question. I said the form.
All right, that's actually the second question we'll ask Phil Jurkovich we ever get him on the pod. Is one, did Kenny affect your recruiting? And two, tits or ass?
I mean, speaking of big interviews coming up, if you follow the Twitter, you know. Be on the lookout for that. See you next time.
Sounds good. Hail to Pitt.